Welcome to Talking Horses. Happy Thursday, everybody. Greg Wolf, Sarah El Badwi. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
We have a lot going on today. We've got a pick six carryover. That was an incredibly difficult card. You were on point yesterday.
Not enough to connect on that pick six, but I will say a couple of horses were able to, I think, benefit from what was an advantageous rail. I wouldn't say it was quite a gold rail yesterday, but being inside, I think, definitely helped some horses.
Yeah, keep your eyes on that, certainly early on before we get into that pick six. Starts in race 3 today. Let's get through business, and we'll jump into the card here in just a second. As always, want to play the pick six, all of it, early pick 5 to start things off. Get signed up at Naira Bets. Get that $200 deposit match, new customer bonus with the code BONUS200 at sign up, and you're ready to rock. Pick six carryover, as we mentioned, begins race 3, $15,940. It was impossible to hit it yesterday. Good luck today. It's another tough card coming up, but is achievable. 10% exacta bonus today at Aqueduct. Opt in to take advantage in your account at NairaBets.com. And 10 times loyalty points at Tampa this afternoon. Also got to opt in for that one as well. No show today, but we are back on the air tomorrow, Friday, 1 to 6 Eastern on Fox Sports 2. So we hope to see you then on air. All right, here we go.
Opening day tomorrow.
What's that?
Oakland opening day tomorrow.
Yes, we'll have Hot Springs. Look forward to it.
Yeah,
always
definitely
one of the most challenging places to handicap, as if it was not hard enough here.
I know, right? The full fields, it's kind of like double the work.
All right, so Aqueduct's first race, 1 turn mile, allowance optional claiming field to kick things off. We have both. I desperately wanted to not go with points as points, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have nothing clever here. A horse who defeated Fully Subscribed. We've seen what that one has gone on to do. A horse for Chad Brown who has been able to take the Mother Goose, who then won a stakes last weekend, who has just really improved since this race. So I think that really legitimizes this number for points as points, who, look, we haven't seen since September 28th, but she's tried a variety of different distances. She's shown that she's capable of running some of those faster numbers. And I like that this isn't quite as much time away as she's had before in the past. A horse who has shown that maybe she takes a start or two to get going and really achieve some of those fastest numbers, but she hasn't had that much time away from the races. And I think that she has the ability to be forwardly placed in here.
Yeah. I will say this. She's absolutely the horse to beat. She has that race in the mud back in February that was just an outlier performance. No one can touch her in here. Her last performance, even though it was good, and yes, she beat Fully Subscribed, she's not superhuman against this group.
She isn't.
She's a horse to beat, but she doesn't have some massive advantage.
And I think that that's absolutely the case, because you're looking at a horse in Cupid's Heart who's trying to get a little bit more distance, who's shown that she's a consistent type, but maybe isn't in the best form of her career overall coming into this race, and perhaps is a little bit better as that closing sprinter. And then the other horses who have something that they've proven on the dirt, well, Malou has to come off a little bit of a layoff. Curlin's Girl has that one dirt race recently in an off-the-turf start. And then your other option here has never been on the surface. So overall, it just looks as though she isn't unbeatable in this spot, but that she is coming in with all the right credentials.
Yeah, I thought long and hard actually going to Curlin's Girl. I actually like her quite a bit in this spot. Ultimately, obviously, I wound up with a horse who's going to be the favorite. But Curlin's Girl, she actually ran a 70 buyer in her dirt debut, which was the second start of her career, back when she was a 2-year-old. That was a really good effort for a 2-year-old that time of year. She comes back, finally gets back on dirt. She's been primarily turf and synthetic. Runs just the third dirt start of her career. She wins that race, 1 1/8. And a figure that, at least if she's improved, she's got to improve off that, obviously. But I thought it was really interesting that she gets back on dirt, runs a really good figure. And that was a muddy track, too. When she ran that big figure as a 2-year-old, that was a fast track. So if maybe she's even better on a faster track. So finally getting back, being able to try the surface again, I thought she was really interesting.
It's pretty wild that she hadn't gone back and at least tried the dirt up until that last start, right? Where she is in that off the turf race, a horse who has shown that she's been proficient on the turf and on synthetic, but you'd think 2-year-old 70 buyer on the dirt, at least give it another whirl.
Yeah. So we'll finally see her today on a fast dirt track coming up, but it's going to be probably a pretty short price favorite with points as points. Race 2 starts the pick 4 $20,000 claiming race, 6.5 furlong sprint. Where did you wind up here?
I went to a defended in this spot who is coming in for Michelle Giangulio, who Look, she's one that she's had a couple of opportunities at this level recently, or one similar to it, including last time where she ended up being no match whatsoever for a horse like Proudfoot. But you have some changing connections in here. Proudfoot going towards the rail, and who isn't exactly the winningest type, though she did prevail over Defended last time. I just like.
We could show that Proudfoot race too, because Defended was in there.
Yeah, and I just like that. Look, Defended is one that she has some back form to go to at similar levels to this. She was facing tougher company over her last couple of starts when she was down at Gulfstream, including one win. She just seems to make some sense in here as a horse who, if you excuse the two wet track efforts against better horses, maybe she's the one that could take that step back to some of her prior races in here. Because I just had some trouble trusting that Proudfoot was going to go back to back in what was an effort at this level to back until now.
Yeah, so that was the win. Proudfoot. Defended was third in there, jumped up to 40, was almost 13.5 to 1 in that spot. It was just too tough a spot. So it gets back to more realistic spot in here. Problematica is going to be quick in here. Didn't even break well last time out. Still was able to get to the front. That's how quick this filly is, and was able to just coast and go gate to wire in here. Obviously, she's incredibly dangerous with the speed that she brings to the party in here. She actually is pretty good record, too. 6 wins from 20 starts for a horse at this kind of level. I think you probably have to use her if you're playing multi-race wagers, don't you?
I would think so, and I think that she's one that's likely to be the speed of the speed, being drawn towards the inside like she is. I think that if anybody else wants to have forward position in here, it'll be dependent on what we see from her, and she's one that she has that level of consistency where we don't always get that at this level, so I think that she's a must-use for sure. But I looked for a while at the horse that you ended up going with on top, Florida Flower. I love the cutback for this one, and I think that you could get a fair price.
Yeah, so I wound up going to the 4. She'll be a price. She's 12 to 1 morning line. I just felt getting late in the year now, this is an improving three-year-old that you cannot quite often see these 3-year-olds kind of turn the tables and advance past some of these older horses. Her last 2 times sprinting, she won both. She put up figures where she paired up figures that to me means she's going to take a jump and run at maybe the best, possibly, better figure than what she's run. But those were the 2 best figures of her career as well. They stretched her out to a mile next start, getting back to sprinting, probably what she wants to do. And even in that, when she won that last sprint at Finger Lake, she was 4 wide early, 3 wide on the turn. Spiritual Lady had won 2 straight, including a win at Saratoga, even though she had a little bit of a poor start in that race. The 3rd place finisher actually came back to win her next 3 starts, one of them with an 89 buyer. So she's kept pretty good company in terms of who she beat in that race as well. Getting back to sprinting, I think we're going to see a forward move.
And Problematica is one that at a shorter price has been running into Spiritual Lady as well. So if you use that horse to sort of evaluate where either of these horses stand and you get the better price on a horse like Florida Flower, I think it makes sense.
All right, race 3 starts the pick 6. $15,940. Good luck to everybody playing this afternoon. The sequence begins with a 6 furlong sprint, allowance optional claiming field. We've gone in different directions here. I'm going to show, I can't get it up here, it was a Toxic Ray race. Yeah. Look, so this horse, I think, very talented. I know Mike Maselli's very high on this horse, but now has been off since April. And this was back on April 5th. Last time we saw this one, 24 Mamba wins this race. He's won $622,000 in his careers, graded, stakes place. This horse has actually won, though, off an even longer, run very good, I should say, off an even longer layoff in the career. In fact, coming back off from March of 23 to April 24, ran a career-tying best figure of his career, which he just matched actually last time out. He has figures that are the best in this group. And the fact that he's shown me he could do it off the bench before, it looks like he's training well. Mike Maselli says he's training well, although he is concerned. I think this horse can get a great trip, sit, stalks, lay just off the speed, and we'll just see if he has enough off the bench.
I think that this is a great field that you're looking at where you see some evenly matched horses, and it's kind of a stakes quality group that we have within the 3rd race today. And Toxic Ray makes a lot of sense. I have no argument with him. I wish he was drawn a little bit more to the outside than having that rail position, because I agree that he's one that's shown that he's capable of sitting just off the pace. But I think his hand is a little bit forced from the inside. If anybody tries to go with him, they may not be able to, but I think that he's one that he's going to be under the gun from the get-go in here. And
you think he'll be in front?
I think that he'll be pressured to have some forward position.
I think
out
he's
of the
quick
gate.
enough to get position, and it won't
And then take
hopefully
back.
not be a factor. I mean, I think Vetriano's got to go, right?
I feel as though he does, and that was my main concern with Toxic Ray on top. Is just that I thought that Vetriano was one who's shown that he kind of needs the lead to be successful, and being towards the outside, I imagine that they're going to try to have that early lead with him. Maybe he's not quite fast enough to get by a horse like Toxic Ray early on. Maybe the two of them actually battle a little bit, and we see some pace heat up in here, but I just wondered if that would be the tactics with the horse towards the outside, because it seems like that's the one way for him to go to be successful.
Yeah, I think they have to go and want to with Vetriano. Kendrick Carmouche is not going to take back with this one, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, so you went to Lock and Key. What do you like?
I think that he just fits the race profile from the way that I'm seeing things play out from a pace dynamic if it does turn out that way. And I also like that Lock and Key is one that he's shown at times he can be a little bit more handy in terms of his early position in a race if need be. The barn is doing extremely well right now. I'm trying to ride the hot hand of the Jimmy Ryerson barn as for while it's going strong and steady. And I thought that this one, getting back on Lasix, getting to the level where he seems to really perform his absolute best with Fabian Pratt, getting back aboard who was on 2 starts ago, that he could end up sitting the right kind of trip in here if there are some pace players ahead of him.
I used to love this. I was such a fan of this horse, and he looked like he was really going to turn into something good. He just doesn't seem to be the same horse. But we'll see.
Arguable, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting race, though. Victory Way, we have to talk about before we move on. Tried turf last start for Mott, but a horse who has shown a lot of talent. I thought might even be better going a little bit longer, but he's obviously talented. Beat a half length in Acoustic Ave, his last dirt start, who was just great. It takes place in the Elite Power. He was right there in the end.
So many stops and starts with this horse who seems to run really well fresh, I will say. So at least you have that going for him. And this isn't an extended layoff like we've seen from him in the past. It just worries me that they have the turf experiment trying to go a little bit longer, and then he's off for some time again. And he has those races that absolutely put him in the mix, but he only has a couple of them relative to what we see from horses like Toxic Gray or Vetriano. And so I thought that he would benefit more from the potential setup, and that he runs really well when coming in off a little bit of a break and we see some of those faster performances. But overall, I just wonder what we're going to get from him.
All right, let's move on to race 4, then we'll take a break here. 1 Turn Mile, New York Breds, 30 maiden claiming race. This is one of the just great perplexing races on the card because there's so little for him to go off of in here. I'll let you start.
Yeah, originally I had some interest in Ringing It In, who will not be playing today. And so that leads me to scratching into Mo Curls, who I imagine will be a short price in this spot, just coming in, getting a little bit of class relief from that first start, where this one was in for the maiden optional claiming tag of $75,000. Ran pretty much in place throughout that race, but I thought had a little bit of trouble at the start of that spot, getting out a little bit slowly from the gate. Then they tried turf with this one, who does run 5th by 3 lengths in there. That's at a maiden special weight level against state breds. It just seems like it's sort of that give up move where they're putting this horse in a spot where he could potentially be successful, but just having a faster number on dirt, having some experience, and having some races that overall are faster, plus the drop in class, led me to this one.
I could obviously is a danger with the drop in terms of the dirt, well, both races, but certainly the dirt race. But the horse showed nothing in that first start. But it was a debut.
I agree.
Did get out slow, but might be enough against this field. You're not going to need a lot probably to win. I wound up going to the 2 Red Fern. Possible. There's not really anyone who wants to even get to the front in this race. Possibly, of what this horse showed, the debut could be the one in front. I do like that 2 sprints to a stretch out. That's what you're going to get here from the 6 and 6.5 now to a mile. Did show speed first time out. So there's a chance this horse is in front, is taking a bit of a drop as well, and didn't have an excuse in that second start when he didn't get the lead, because he did get pinballed around out of the gate there.
Oh, absolutely. I think that if you want somebody to potentially show some of that speed like he did first time out, that he has a legitimate excuse last time for not getting that forward position for sure.
And then I thought the 4 was a little bit interesting. Drop Me a Dime, John Ortiz, he's going pretty good right now.
Yeah, he's having a great meet.
This horse debuted on grass. The dam did produce a 2-time winner on dirt that ran an 81 Beyer routing. And there's some talent deeper in the second dam of the pedigree, although that was grass, but was great at stakes place on the turf.
Yeah, this is one of those guessing games like we saw several of those yesterday, where I could see this going in many ways. And you have horses that there is that upside for them to perform better at this level. And if you have a strong opinion here, I recommend going for it.
If you have a strong opinion in here, I question you and your
fair as well.
handicapping methods, because I don't know how you have a strong opinion. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get back to race 5.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back, Talking Horses. Let's pick things up with the late pick 4. So race 5, $10,000 claiming race, 6 furlongs. We have agreed here. Wow, Dream on Kara. Would you like?
I thought that this one made a lot of sense with the drop to the bottom level in terms of class. A horse who has been facing much tougher company overall throughout a couple of her last starts. And when she's been at a level where she could be more successful, I think that we've seen her be successful. We've seen her win in those starts, 3 and 4 back, excuse me. I think that you can just draw a line through that race where she was declared a non-starter, and then she was just facing some tougher horses last time out where she was 24-1. She never was able to really get position in that race for a horse that does like to come from further back. This class level just seemed to make a lot of sense for her, and I thought that there would be at least a couple who wanted some forward position where maybe she could get the right kind of trip.
Yeah, I like the fact too, class drop obviously, but the fact she's getting back to sprinting. They tried last 2 times she sprint, she has won, and then they tried to stretch her out to a mile in the next 2 races. She maybe had been a little bit effective for the level she'd been at, and we're talking about state bred maiden claiming races, showing at least ability against that kind of group going longer. She is a closing sprinter. That's what she's proven now, that she's kind of fit in, and that's what she wants to do. So they're getting back to doing that today, where again, she's been successful those last couple of starts, and those figures that she ran in those wins as well. She paired up numbers that if she takes even a little forward move, she becomes the one to beat in this race for me. So she does need, obviously she comes from very far out of it. I thought potentially the 8 could be alone in here.
Really?
On the front end. She looks like the quick of the quick to me, but I still think, I still like Dream on Kara.
Yeah, I think that Maggie T is the speed of the speed, but I do think she might have a little bit of company from some other horses that want some forward position too, and that it would end up benefiting horses like Dream on Kara as well as potentially Book of Wisdom as well in here. And then Spiritual Lady we talked about earlier is those 2 individuals that were running against her before. She's also one that's coming into a spot where we haven't seen her at this class level either, where she, in her last time on this circuit, in for a tag, she was a winner.
And this is which race?
This is Spiritual Lady winning.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm last start to put a total line through that. I'm not worried about that. For me, she's the horse to beat, no question.
I agree.
Just in terms of company kept, like 2 back. I picked Florida Flower earlier. She finished behind her with a bad start. She's faced very good company, and she's pretty, what you're going to get with her. She's been fairly consistent for the level.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Open Soul Autism, the 4, just real quick I'll mention. I thought she's really going in the right direction, but that Finger Lakes form, got to prove she can show it here. But I think she's interesting. And it's been all on wet tracks.
Absolutely, but she's clearly showing that she has that propensity to win. She's been winning by open lanes, and sometimes when you are at this level, you don't always know who necessarily has that killer instinct to win. You know, at least with this one, that is the case.
All right, race 6, mile and an eighth, 50,000 starter allowance here. This one for 3-year-olds and up. For me, House United was my strongest conviction on this entire card. I think is a massive standout.
Yeah, this is the horse to beat. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that this one, if you go back 3 starts, running against Dreamlike, against a horse in Commuted who tried stakes company and actually finishing ahead, crossing the wire first over Dreamlike, ultimately disqualified to 4th though. In that start 4 back, just been facing some better company. It makes a lot of sense in here.
And oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's shown that he can at least run well at the mile and an eighth distance as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought one of his best races was at a mile and an eighth when he just missed against Holton at Saratoga this summer. That last race, he was 4 wide around the turn. He was wide the entire way. There was an inside bias that day. He had absolutely no chance to make an impact in that race. The top two finishers were on the inside basically the entire way. They wound up 1-2 in that race too. So I actually give him a lot of extra credit for that performance that he ran last time out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think he makes a lot of sense in here. And as far as the direction that I went in, this horse actually has dirt form that's going towards the outside with a horse like Hamilton's Way, who you do have to go back a ways to find it. But this horse once tried Stakes Company on the dirt. He ran well in finishing second, a distant second behind Bourbon Day in a race where he was in at Saratoga. It was a wet track that day. And then he has that race where he didn't perform quite as well, but that was against tougher horses than he's going to be facing here at the flat mile. I think that he does well when he's going a little bit more of that mile and an eighth, mile and 3/16 type of distance, and that's exactly what he's going to get here today. And he also doesn't need to be so far out of things early, even though he has been far back on the turf as of late.
Yeah, kind of that buried form that's back in there, that discovery race, yeah, a little bit better than probably it shows up on paper. I just want to add the 7 in here who I thought was interesting, who I have second. Another 3-year-old who I think is improving late in the year, coming off a win at a mile and an eighth, and he's paired up figures again, where if he takes a forward move, he would need certainly House United maybe to back up a little bit, but with everyone else, he's probably the horse to beat outside of that one. The Dam was a grade 3 winner. I know this horse already has a little bit of a resume, but still relatively lightly raced. Did produce just a touch. He was third in the Met Mile. And I just see this horse, obviously he's not going to be any kind of superstar. It's going to be winning graded stakes anytime soon. But I think developing late in the year and going longer, they started, Todd Pletcher had this horse and actually debuted at a mile and a 16th. They ran on a mile and an eighth. So going long is what this horse wants to do. Just won now at a mile and an eighth. So I think this is kind of exactly in his ballpark and just getting stronger late in the year now as a 3-year-old.
And does it end up mattering to you at all that he's been protected twice? Not so
Sure.
much. Sure. Because that tells me that they like him enough to want to keep him
Yeah,
around and
no,
then
that's
to
a
put
good-
him in
yeah,
this
could be.
spot, that they're stepping him up, that clearly they don't want to lose this horse and have him go to a different barn.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know all the things going in behind it. Why
Me either,
potentially,
but-
yeah, but possibly for sure.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Anybody else?
That was the main one I wanted to mention outside.
Alright.
I do. That's my strongest play on the day. I think House
Alright.
United is a massive standout,
I like it.
which has not gone well for me, in my opinion, some of the other days. Race 7,
So it goes.
New York bred, a other than 7/8 of a mile, and the rematch that everyone has been waiting for between Pantherian and Whammo, when Whammo got DQ'd, and Pantherian in the debut got moved up to a winner for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, Whammo able to come back and officially get the victory over a wet track in the next start over
Clear
Party
cut,
and the Army.
deserved DQ.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is one of those situations where we've had a lot more lately. I think that perhaps in the past when we had different stories may have gone a different way, but I think there's been a level of consistency this year that we've seen. This one made sense to me. I do understand it. We do get to see these horses match up yet again. If Whammo is indeed going to be the slightly bigger price, I wanted him on top as we take a look at the head-on here where, look, you had the big price on Whammo that day, and it's not going to be that much of a price discrepancy coming in today. But to me, I felt as though him getting that win, a fourth right in the next start, crossing the wire first, perhaps Pantherian can improve, but Whammo drawing to his outside in here was also a factor for me.
Okay.
What do you think?
I just love the fact Pantherian, that was the debut. Doing that, there's more upside for that horse, I thought, to move forward. And got significant. I mean, the horse was coming out and the rider was going left-handed. Completely impeded Pantherian's ability to win that race. So, yeah, I think there's just more forward. But look, we'll see. I mean, Whammo came back out of there and ran an even better figure. So, who's to say? I thought Gaming Wizard, I wound up going in a totally different direction, and I could be great. Those two obviously look very tough. But Gaming Wizard, to me, who debuted on grass for Ken McPeak, obliterated a group in the debut in a race that was taken off the turf for the first third start. And then thrown in a stakes company, the Sleepy Hollow. Bravaro is now 2 for 2, was odds on in that race. I think he's very talented. 4th and 1, who was 3rd in that race, came back and won his next by more than 7 lengths. And I think cutting back, you saw the horse just weaken late a little bit in that race. I think cutting back to 7 furlongs might be perfect for this horse. And yet another one who was five wide early in that race. I didn't think I have a great chance to win that race. And paired up figures in both those dirt starts where I think now we're going to see the horse take a big jump forward. And if he does, might leapfrog Wamo and Pantherian. So we'll see.
Yeah, ultimately, I want to see how good this horse is, but these are the 2-year-olds, and they can always take that step forward. And he certainly was impressive in getting that first victory. I think that he was running into a horse who was much the best in Bravaro in that Sleepy Hollow, and perhaps just a little bit further than suited him in there. But we've only seen him have that one way of going be successful so far. So that's kind of the case that we see with a couple of these, and ultimately, he makes sense. And if we get a repeat of that maiden victory, he fits in just as well as anybody.
All right, let's move on to the nightcap. 50,000 claiming race, non-winners in 2 life, 1 turn mile. I thought a few interesting horses in this race, but wow, we both put the same horse in here.
Agree.
Amy's Music, Michael Trombetta, Sahin Savachi, and obviously kind of stands out who he faced last time.
Yes, now that we've seen a horse like Mika come back and run as well as he did in that Cigar Mile, I think that the word will be out on the running lines for this horse, a horse who is coming in second off of a little bit of a break now. And look, might have to take a little bit more of a step forward, but certainly keeping some quality company. And I feel as though looking around, I just didn't trust some of the shorter prices completely, like Interceptor, like I Can towards the outside, like Reynolds Channel. And I just wanted that new face to this group who at least has been running against some quality types.
Yeah, I totally agree. Look, and that race against Mika, who looked like he was going to win that Cigar Mile, he was right there. That's the fastest figure anybody has in this race, and that was off 5 months away. So now with that race under the belt as a tightener, what can this horse do now? Second off the bench for a very good barn. I'm really interested to see what he does this afternoon. I did think Kavanaugh next door was really going the right way. I know it was a 35 maiden claiming win last time out, but another one who was paired up very strong figures and now is one who could take a jump as a late in the year improving 3-year-old. So I thought he was interesting. I even think the 2 middle market has figures that fit in here that are as quick as even Interceptor in this spot. And I think Interceptor, because of who it is, it's going to get way over bet.
I agree. And not at all a standout in this group by any means, and has numbers that certainly win this race. But I think that we've also seen this horse have a couple of chances where he just hasn't really shown as much, and I just wanted to go somewhere else with a horse who I agree. I think this one will just be taking quite a bit of money, as well as a horse like Reynolds Channel, who has the resume for plenty of success in the past, but at the same time, they've tried so many different things with this horse that I just sort of wonder where he ultimately fits now. And while I do like him getting back to the dirt, I like him a little bit more as that closing sprinter type, more so than the miler.
Does this get hit today, pick 6?
Probably not by me, but probably.
Okay. Good luck to everybody. We're finishing up. This is Interceptor?
This is Reynolds Channel.
Oh, sorry.
Finishing second to Trust Fund.
Okay.
Who ended up actually going on to do some
last time on dirt, back in May here at Belmont and Aqueduct. Interesting. And Pratt aboard. So it's going to hurt your price.
Exactly.
Good luck playing the pick 6 this afternoon. It is not easy. We talked through these races. What's going to be the biggest probably lean for anyone in here? I don't even know if there is. There's not one in race. I don't
think there's anybody that really necessarily stands out as a big lean. I think Spiritual
Lady. Maybe House
Lady.
United, right?
Maybe Spiritual Lady, though I don't think how much are we really leaning in claiming 10,000. And you and I both wanted to go in a different direction in there, but House United has to be on those tickets. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel as though today on paper looks a little bit more open than yesterday.
Yeah.
But who knows?
That's a scary thought.
I know.
All right, get signed up, started, play along at Naira Bets. Again, $200 deposit match sign up bonus. Use that code bonus200 to take advantage and play along at Naira Bets. Pick 6 carryover begins. Race 3, $15,940. Good luck to everybody going after it this afternoon. The official post time, 1:38 Eastern for the start of the pick 6. 10% exacta bonus today on Naira Bets. We're playing with Aqueduct. Opt in to take advantage of that. And 10 times loyalty points at Tampa. Opt in as well. They add up fast. Tomorrow, we're back on the air, 1 to 6 Eastern. As Sarah mentioned, we have opening day, Hot Springs, Arkansas in the mix. We look forward to that. We will see you on the air tomorrow. But you and I talking through these races
I think
on
Maggie's
simulcast
here
today, right?
Today as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good luck today, everyone.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.